Good evening, everyone, and a really warm welcome to the Van Mildert College Big Mildert Quiz on this really special Mildert Day 55. Delighted to introduce our hosts this evening, Abby Bennington, Steve Gardner, Simon Povey, and Sheehan Quirk, and I'll hand over to them now.
Vicky, thanks for organising this, and good evening, everybody. I hope you're having a great Mildert Day. We're having some fun here putting these questions together, which Vicky's brilliantly done for us. And we're going to start. There'll be 5 rounds and a picture round, so 6 rounds in total. We think it all adds up to 100 points, and we'll break halfway through and mark the first 2 rounds whilst we do the picture round. So you should then be able to keep a score, and all validated answers come back to Vicky, the voice of Big Brother, who will check us and edit us through to make sure we're not swearing as we go. So shall we start with the first round? I think Abby and I are going to take you through a general knowledge round.
Yep, good evening.
Shall I go first then, Abby?
You go for it, Stephen.
61 was the year I was born. It's a good year for wine, I understand. So appointed in 1961 to design the buildings of the new Van Mildert College. Name the architect for 1 point. That's tricky. I don't know that. Abby, do you know that?
I don't. I'm ashamed to say I don't, sorry.
Do you think we can do better on question 2?
Let's hope so. So question number 2. Van Mildert College has seen 2 JCR presidents who have held office. Following re-election for 2 consecutive years, who are they? That's 2 points.
I don't know who they are, but they must be absolute madmen.
Yeah.
Gluttons for punishment.
Was this in the year, Simon, when you got paid for doing it?
Yes, I think both were, actually. I think that must be the only reason they stuck around.
Sounds about right. Greedy people, JCR presidents.
Well, you have not a clue. I'm not doing well at the moment. I'm on 0 point. Things are looking up, though, with question 3, I think. So in what year did the college first admit women? And which head of college championed this move? You get 2 points for that. That's more my time, I think.
Little hint there, Stephen, a small hint.
Sorry, Abby, yes, go on then.
Question number 4. In 2009, Mildertians trophied a statue of what from Castle Bar? It made headlines in Palatinate. For an extra point, what disguise did Mildertians allegedly use? And that's 2 points.
What happened to this statue in the end? Does anybody know?
I think it got returned. It's now chained and padlocked down to the top of Castle Bar.
Is that right? Is it padlocked down?
Yeah, it's pride of place. So don't go into Castle Bar and tell them you knew the people who stole it. So
very good. I think I know this one as well. Question 5. Pandemonium is the title of an official college notice written by which former head of the college? 1 point for that one.
Not a Scooby there. Not a Scooby.
No, me neither.
You haven't read the book.
Question number 6. Which Mildertian set a new world record in triple jump at the 1995 World Athletics Championships in Gothenburg? What is his name, and with what distance did he break the world record? I do remember this one.
And that's a really good second part to that, the distance.
I don't know that.
No. So, question number 7. Which former head of college is famously known to have been incandescent with rage at a college formal?
Could this possibly be every head of college? Or is that...
We might have to be a bit generous with that one, Vicky, in the marking. I suspect there's a clue in the quote.
Sounds like me after a particular sports formal, to be honest.
I'm not sure the head of college is going to be speaking to me after having put this question up, actually. So
I was pretty unhappy when the rugby team took me out from top table and threw me in the lake as well. That was pretty
They
good.
would never do that.
Watching that.
Question number 8. Which head of college took the initiative to build Middleton Stairs, borrowing £60,000 from the university and repaid it from conference earnings?
Interesting.
That was a brilliant decision, wasn't it? Did anybody live in Middleton apart from me? Were you guys in Middleton?
I was Middleton in my first year. First
Yeah.
floor Middleton.
First floor. I was ground floor. Abby, were you
Ground
there?
Yes, I was first floor first year. Yeah.
You have a
The
view of
first
the
floor
golf-
Middleton as well.
Yes.
Wow.
You've never lived. We had a lovely view of the golf course when I first went up in '79. Question 9. Following the completion of Collingwood College in '74, the woodsman invaded Mildert and threw what at unsuspecting diners during a college formal? How did Mildert allegedly, in quotes, retaliate?
Were you involved, Stephen, or?
That's a bit before my time. She and I was 79, 80.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. Be careful with that one. And Abby, do you want to take the last? Is this the last question, or is this one 2 more?
I think there's 11, I believe.
Yes, all right. 10 and
So
11.
question number 10. Mildert is fondly known as the college with the biggest heart. But under which head of college did our longest running outreach project begin? Name the project, year and school where it began for extra points. There's 4 up for grabs here.
Oh, that's a great... I think some of you guys have been involved in that work. Am I right? Or am I in the wrong... I think I'm in the wrong years, aren't I? Question 11. This is a bit nearer my time, but I still don't know the answer to it. In 1997, a new Van Mildert College tradition began with a can of Coke being thrown and then sprayed over the head of the JCR election winner. By what name is this fondly known, and from which country is the student who began this tradition? That's a very...
This has caused quite the stir on the Mildert Memories Facebook page, actually. Really interesting.
I seem to remember you falling over, Simon, when you did it.
I did. I slipped.
Tumbling to the ground.
Slipped and nearly knocked over some poor fresher, which was quite painful, actually.
Won't be the first time.
Well, I think that is the end of round 1. And Simon is about to take us through to the start of round 2. All your questions, Simon.
Right. Hello. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Abby and Steve, for sending this round over to me. It is the sport round, the most important round of the quiz. I'll be doing my best impression of Sue Barker and any other sports hosts that you may wish to call upon over the last 50 years or so. But anyway, on to the first question. I'm taking you back to a balmy night in London 2012. I do remember it was almost as warm as it is now. But I'd like you to tell me, for a point each, which great British athletes won gold on the evening of Super Saturday, and also the event that they won gold in. So that's a point for each athlete and a point for the event they won their gold medal in. So 6 points available, getting you off to a nice good start for the sports round. Hopefully a lot of you remember where you were that night. I certainly remember where I was. Sitting at home between my parents and thinking, wow, I wish I was as talented as half these guys out there.
You're a natural, Simon. You could have a career in broadcasting, I think, with the...
Right, okay. One for the tennis fans here.
Yeah.
So Andy Murray, a Scot when he loses, a Brit when he wins. When did he win his first major? Which event was it that he won it in? Is 1 point. Who he beat to win his first major, and then finally, who was the last Brit to win a major singles tennis title before him? So that's a point for who Andy Murray beat to win his first major, the event that he won it at, and then the last Briton before him to win a tennis major.
I think I know two of those, Simon, but I'm embarrassed to say I saw the answers before and I still can't remember the first one.
I get all of Murray's finals in that little period mixed up, so I never tell myself.
You're very kind.
Right. This next one was provided by my dad, a big horse racing fan, and it is: which 1981 Epsom Derby winner was famously stolen from his stables after being retired to stud in 1983? Quite the mystery, this one. Now, something very close to my heart for question 4. Which Lancastrian surpassed Sir Ian Botham's record to become England's leading Test wicket taker in 2015? Now, to throw a bit of a curveball in here, I'd like you to give me a bonus point. For a bonus point, I'd like you to give me the number of wickets he has now to the nearest 10. So which Lancastrian surpassed Sir Ian Botham's record to become England's leading Test wicket taker in 2015? And then a bonus point for the number of wickets he has now to the nearest 10. And if you know it exactly, you get a big pat on the back. That's all I can offer you.
It's a lot of wickets.
It's a lot of wickets.
Are you a cricket player, Steve?
Not very badly, as some people on this call might remember. College cricket was just about the most I could manage.
Okay, question 5 of the sport round. Which golfer with 18 major championships to his name is nicknamed the Golden Bear?
This is about the only one I think I could get.
Okay, question 6. Taking you all the way back to one November morning in 2003, how many seconds were remaining on the clock when Johnny Wilkinson scored the winning drop goal in the 2003 Rugby World Cup final? And for a bonus point, can you tell me what the final score was?
Gosh, this was an exciting number of seconds, wasn't it?
I have a bit of a confession to make here. I actually missed the winning drop goal. I had my own rugby match that morning, and they would not rearrange it. So I only remember watching it the following day.
That was
shocking. Absolutely shocking. Now, something that's relative to County Durham here. Who is the most successful English football manager of all time? Which team did he manage to win 3 European Cups? And for a final bonus point, which small town in County Durham, exactly 8.1 miles from Van Mildert College, was he born in?
How are we quantifying successful here, Simon? Because I think that could cause a little bit of debate.
I mean, I certainly take it in the number of trophies he won.
Okay. Interesting.
Not quite winning the hearts and minds, perhaps, but...
I think one of only 2 men to have won the European Cup 3 times as a football manager, in fact.
Believe so. 3 men now.
Right,
okay. Going over to the US now, maybe one for horticultural fans as well. Pink dogwood, magnolia, flowering crabapple, and azalea can all be found at which famous American sporting venue? So pink dogwood, magnolia, flowering crabapple, and azalea can all be found at which famous American sporting venue?
Nearly as many different plants and animals that we have at Mildert, isn't it? With our great biodiversity, as our current principal likes to call it. Something to be proud of.
Is there an anagram in those letters?
I'm not quite that clever.
Neither am I.
Okay. Which boxer, known as the Italian Dragon, went his entire career undefeated, finishing with a record of 46 bouts, 46 wins, no draws and no defeats? You might know that one, Sheehan, as a boxing fan.
Yeah, absolutely. Quite a hero. There's actually a little bit of trivia might help you. There's a chap who works at Cafe Capriccio in Durham, an Italian man who has the same name as this man. So that might help some of you, but it probably won't.
On a different note, Ian, are you not absolutely boiling in that turtleneck?
I am warm, yes, but I've got the windows open. So there's I'm as you can see, I'm not sure where the bishop is sat, but I'm sort of outside. I think maybe on the top of the castle or something. There's a strong breeze.
Yeah.
There we go. Right, well, now we've heard about Sheehan's climate control methods. Taking you to an event that I witnessed in the Half Moon Inn in Durham back in August. But Jack Leach, the famous tail ender who contributed one not out to a final wicket partnership, which took England over the line in the 2019 Headingley Ashes test. Out of the partnership of 62 balls, 76 runs were scored. But how many of those 62 balls did Jack Leach face? And for a bonus point, before the match winner Ben Stokes walked out, he famously borrowed an item of clothing off Jack Leach. What item of clothing was it? And some say he's still to return it. So that's the number of balls faced by Jack Leach out of 62. 17, 22, or 27.
Fabulous Sunday afternoon, wasn't it? I can remember now where I was, yeah.
Beautiful. It was a lovely day.
Okay, Sam, you've got 12 questions in sport, I see.
I have. I squeezed one in. Squeezed more in. Of the 16 fences at Aintree Racecourse, the home of the Grand National, 6 of them have names. Name them. So you get 2 points for all 6.
Now, that's actually a statement, isn't it? An imperative command, not a question, when you think about it.
I'm suffering from the same problem last time. I've had the benefit of seeing your answers, Simon, and I can still only get 3 of them off the top of my head.
I think if you got all 6, you should get 6 points. I'm going to just throw that in as a curveball.
What does the voice behind us say? We might need them.
The conveniently designed scoring system.
Exactly. Yeah,
when the numbers don't add up, Abby, we'll throw in a few extra points for this one.
They're hard won, those 2 points.
And finally, throwing all the way back to 1966, something that our first grads may remember very well. But who scored the second goal in England's 1966 World Cup final victory? An often forgotten man.
Second goal, yeah. Oh.
And that
You're going to take us through your picture round.
Sure. Yes. So, welcome everybody. Good to see you. I mean, I can't see you, but good to be with you in your homes around the world in this lovely summer weather. So yes, round 3, pictures of Durham. Let's see how you do. Some iconic locations, some famous, some less notable. Here we are, 11 pictures of Durham. Wow. Look at those. I think we're going to come back to them a few times over the course of the quiz. So don't worry, you don't need to get them all now. Maybe take out your iPhones and your Huaweis and your Androids and grab a photo of them so you can look at them. But we'll come back to them, I think, in between a couple of the other rounds while we're doing answers. So don't worry, you don't need to get them all now. You'll have a chance to look at them again.
Did you take all these questions, these photos, Sheehan?
Of course I do, of course. I mean, I've lived here for 5 years now. So I'm going to put myself out there and say I recognise them all. Some I prefer to others. Some, although number 4.
So we give you 11 points, I think, if you can get all these.
Yes.
And now we're going to run through the answers to the first 2 rounds, and then we'll intersperse them with the pictures. The picture round will come back as well, as Sheen said. So we'll go through the answers for the general knowledge question. And I think I started. So the answer to question 1, Philip Middleton. Who was the architect? Philip Middleton. There's some connection there between the naming of the next building, I no doubt. That's where it came from. Abby's question 2, yours.
Yep. So question number 2, the answer was Neil Crimes and Sheehan Quirk. Did you know that, Sheehan?
I know that. I certainly knew one of the answers.
That's at least you got 1 point there.
Yes, no, I know Neil as well. He did it first, so he was the trailblazer. He was the one who set the example.
Well done. So question 3, yes, 1971, Dr. Arthur Prowse. Very famous portrait of him when we used to walk through the front door when we came up in 1980. Probably still there.
Question number 4, the answer was Marilyn Monroe carpet fitters.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is still there in Castlebar, that statue.
Is it really?
Yes, it is. So it's come all the way here and back again.
Question 5, of course, Pandemonium, very famous. Arnold Bradshaw, who just lives down the road from me. Question 6.
So, rather embarrassingly, I actually can't see the answer on the screen.
Jonathan Edwards. But did you know the distance? That's
I didn't. I knew the Jonathan.
29 meters.
Oh.
Wow. Question 7.
There is another answer to question 6, which people might have put in, which is a slightly longer distance. It didn't actually qualify for a world record because it was a wind-assisted jump. So just to let you know, it's a bit of a trick question.
Bit of a trick question. Wind-assisted Jonathan.
Oh.
Didn't know that. So the incandescent with rage, Professor Patrick O'Mara. Mira. How do you pronounce that? Mara.
O'Meara, I think.
Was it Mira? O'Meara, of course, yeah.
Was anybody here present when he made that statement, or do we not have any witnesses?
You want evidence to validate the answer?
No,
I was present.
Oh, gosh.
And
Okay,
the answer,
question number 8, the answer was Dr. Paul Kent.
that's right. He was the master when I first arrived. And then Dr. Bradshaw next. Question 9. Interesting. Can you see that? Bags of flour built a wall to block deliveries to Collingwood. Allegedly. That's before my time.
Wow.
Question 10.
Yeah, question number 10, the answer is George Patterson, Young Persons Project, 2002, with Pennywell School.
I had it earlier than that.
I thought
it was 99, 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking it was the turn of 99, but there's some great work going on there. Question 11. The kazoo, Japan. By what name is this fondly known? Interesting. I missed that. I was very lucky.
It's on the Wikipedia page.
It's on Wikipedia, is it? So if you were cheating, you could have looked that up, could you? Hopefully nobody's cheating.
Not in the spirit.
No.
No Mildertian would cheat, surely not.
Google's not allowed.
Okay.
Any clues on these pictures, Shin?
Yeah, so just if you just want to sort of glide your eyes over some of these, we have some interesting parts of Durham on show. Number 8, by the way, I think was built in 2012, won an award. 1.2 million pounds worth of art or something was put in there. That's what I read on a Platten article. And there's a Picasso on the 3rd floor, a rather miserly lithograph. I can't say it's very impressive, but allegedly it's by Picasso. Number 5, I think a horrible place. I have terrible traumatic memories from number 5. Number 3, a place where many proposals have been made allegedly by those who meet at Durham. who wish to get married go to make their proposals. So I've been told. Very unusual name as well. I think number 2 is the most recent addition.
And is that an artist's impression, or is that a real picture, by the way, just to give another clue?
Number 3 or number 2?
No, number 2. It's actually built, is it?
That is a picture, yes.
Yeah, fair enough.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Quizmaster, sort of the voice that comes from above, but I think it's a real picture. Yes. It's sort of like a shard, but it's not the shard, to be clear.
Go on then, Simon. You've got your answer.
Okay.
Coming up.
If I remember correctly, the first question was about Super Saturday in London 2012. So give yourself a pat on the back for Jess Ennis winning gold in the heptathlon, Greg Rutherford in the long jump, and finally Mo Farah in the 10,000 metres.
Is it heptathlon or heptathlon? Which is
heptathlon. Heptathlon, I believe. Okay.
Yeah.
And then for question 2, 3 points available here. Andy Murray beat Novak Djokovic in the 2012 US Open, and he followed Virginia Wade in 1977 as the most recent British major winner. Shergar was the horse stolen from his stables in Ireland after winning the 1981 Epsom Derby, cruelly retired after finishing 5th in his final race. There you go. James Anderson should be Sir James Anderson if you ask me, is now England's most successful Test wicket taker, and I would have accepted 580 for the closest to his 584 Test wickets. The Golden Bear, Jack Nicklaus, will he retain his title as the most successful golfer of all time, or will Tiger Woods catch him? Watch this space. Johnny Wilkinson, with 26 seconds to go, scored the winning drop goal in the 2003 Rugby World Cup final. Took England home to a 2017 victory.
Felt more like 46 there, didn't it?
Right, and this one's close to my heart as a big Liverpool fan. Soon to be crowned champions of England, champions of the world and of Europe. The most successful English manager of all time is, unfortunately, not Sir, but in my heart he is, Bob Paisley. He won 3 European Cups, obviously, with Liverpool, 77, 78 and 81. And he was born in Hetton-le-Hull, and I hope I've pronounced that right for the locals on the call. Pink dogwood, magnolia, flowering crabapple and azalea can all be found at Augusta National Golf Club. All types of plant or tree found near the holes that they're named after. Joe Calzaghe is the Italian dragon. And so on to Jack Leach, taking you all back to that hot summer day in August 2019. He faced 17 of the 62 balls in that final wicket partnership. And some say he lent Ben Stokes his box. No wonder Ben Stokes does not want to give that back. And if you didn't get these 6 Grand National fences, you should really be kicking yourselves, I should say, because it's Beecher's Brook, Valentine's Brook, the chair, water jump, canal turn, and finally for Navan, named after the 100 to 1 winner in what I think was 1967.
Yeah, Foy Navan, I'd forgotten that. Very annoying.
And finally, the oft-forgotten hero of England's 1966 World Cup winning squad, Martin Peters, scored England's 2nd goal in the 78th minute, only for the Germans to equalise in the 89th. It could have been a national hero, but instead, Geoff Hurst went on to bag his hat-trick in extra time. And that's all for the sports round. I think it's over to Abby for arts and culture.
I think we've got one last look at the picture board.
Yeah, so
going off script.
The number 11 is an interesting one. I think it's sort of changed hands a few times. Once belonged to the university. Now it's a hotel with a steak bar. but you still see the old university crest outside and inside as well, and some mosaics and stained glass. So that's your clue for number 11.
Bonus point if you know the name of the hotel.
Great then. So on to round 4, arts, music and culture. Okay, so here we go. Okay, question number 1. In which art gallery is Michelangelo's David? And all of my questions are worth 1 point. Okay.
Well done.
I appreciate the simplicity. I think that's much easier than this strange mathematical constructions used in Simon's sports question.
You haven't seen my round yet.
Oh, gosh.
So.
Yeah, all you have to do is sit back and try and get the answers and worry about nothing else, okay? Question number 2. What was George Eliot's real name? Okay. George Eliot's real name.
Yeah.
All right, question number 3. In which English town did Adolf Hitler study art?
I thought I knew the answer to this until you said town.
Well, okay. Let's go with city. Let's go with city. I think it was a town when he studied there.
Very good.
Definitely a city. Okay, moving on. Who was the first Englishman to win the Nobel Peace Prize for Literature?
I'm going to put myself out there and say I think I know the answer. I think the person who won it is also the youngest ever person to win it.
Ah.
You might know better, Abby, but
I can't verify that answer. We may have to put that to the powers that be.
Okay.
Okay. Which politician had 2 biographies published in the same year? One by a previous prime minister and one by a future one. This is tricky, this.
This is tricky. I think I know this.
Okay, and even harder. Really tricky, this one. And I'm sure everyone knows it. When One Direction came 3rd in the X Factor, who actually won?
Can I phone a friend?
You can.
My wife might know that.
Still friends with One Direction, Stephen. That's good. All right. Who wrote the children's books, The Borrowers? I'm not sure how many there were in the series, but certainly a few. Okay. Now, for James Bond fans, in which film did Roger Moore first play James Bond? I can hear the music now. I won't do it for you.
I think it was the first one I ever went to see as well.
Oh, really?
Used it in a quiz of my own to some old Mildertian cricketers last week. All of them got it wrong.
Did they?
Shocking.
I hope I didn't get it wrong. Okay. Which famous person said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere? All right. Right, you need to hold on to your hats for the last one, okay? Because this is really hard. Are you ready?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I know. What is Postman Pat's surname? You're going to kick yourself if you don't get this.
God, I hope
So frustrating.
the answer isn't Pat, is it?
It's not Pat Pat. I'll give you that. It's not Pat Pat. And it's not Pat Jess, his cat.
Right.
I was thinking of, Jess, yeah.
Yeah.
These are great questions. I mean, I do wish I'd seen the answers before them, actually, because I'm really scoring only about 3 or 4. It's bad.
No, I did this. My husband's pretty good at quizzes, and he only got 3 or 4. So you're not alone, Stephen.
It's a difficult round, that one. I never play the Joker on my arts and culture. I'm sorry to say that. But that was a very good round. Thank you for that. Round 5 is playing a little bit on the numbers, around 55 years of Mildert. So there's quite a few 55s in this, and there's a number of references to 1965, which a number of you will remember fondly was when we opened. It was 10 questions. There's 30 points going here because there's a few lists that you need to think about later on. Question 1 is an easy one, I think. Who was the Prime Minister when Van Mildert was opened? And you get an extra point if you can remember who came before him. Who was Prime Minister? Who was his predecessor? So I think
it's a good job I paid attention in second-year politics.
Yeah, I was 4 years old. I can just about remember. Question 2 is, I think, a bit easier, which is about a 55-year anniversary. So I think the traditional and modern forms of the gift are the same in this one, and they're made of a certain substance, and we want to know the name of the substance and its colour for 2 points. I did have to look that up, though, I have to say. I don't know many people who've got that far. Question 3 is a chemistry question. As you all know, I tried to do chemistry, and I had to look this up as well because I wanted the 55th element. I got the group number, but I couldn't remember the element. I had to look it up. You get a bonus point if you know which group it's in as well. So you want the name of the 55th element for 1 point and its group number in the periodic table, 2 points.
This goes right over the head of the humble arts students on the call.
Have you not been doing, do you not look at the periodic table for pointless or something like that?
Not since I was 16, I don't think.
I think it's, yeah, it is tricky because it's, yeah, I won't give any more clues.
I think it's all made up anyway.
Yeah,
a lot of us who did chemistry can't remember these things, as you know. The next question was actually given to me, Vicky's idea, actually, this one, about the 55th parallel line, the line of latitude at 55 degrees north. It goes through quite a large part of the ocean and the seas and the continents, and Newcastle upon Tyne is on there. Now, you'll have to guess this, but you can sort of work it out. How many hours of sunshine to the nearest hour could you expect on a clear day in Newcastle? Has anybody been and seen a clear day in Newcastle?
That's a once in a blue mooner, isn't it?
It really is. And there's a slightly easier question because there's certainly one European capital city at 55 degrees north, and we'll give you that for a bonus point if you know that city. Question 5. So if you do pointless, you'll get a few of these. I think it's 195 countries are recognized by the United Nations. If you list them all in alphabetical order, the 55th country starts at the letter E, and there are 8 other countries, the E countries, as I've been calling them. I've checked the order in at least 2 references, and it's the 55th one is the same in each, but there is a bonus point for the 55th. So there are 8 countries. So you get 9 points for that list. I don't happen to know which is the pointless answer, of course, because we didn't ask 100 people. But I do know that 2 of them turn up regularly on their list of pointless countries.
I'm impressed with how rigorously you are sticking to the theme of 55. It is.
My wife had to help me with this one. She watches Pointless more than I do. But,
Pointless, you mentioned, but in fact, you do sound a bit like Alexander Armstrong, I think, Stephen.
Thank you very much. It could be worse, couldn't it? You're very kind. Now, question 6 takes this on a bit further. So we've got the 195 countries. If you now turn the list round and sort it by population, and you start at China at the top with 1.4 billion, and you count down in decreasing numbers of people who live in these lovely countries, you come to the 50th country is Venezuela. We'll give you that as a clue. That's 28 million people. So you're in the 28 million and declining space, and we want you to guess the 50th largest country. And if you get the population to the nearest million, we'll give you a bonus point for that. Venezuela threw me, 28 million. I was surprised that was there. Question 7. I also love Bond, Abby. I have to say, this goes back to some of my early stages. So in 65, when the college opened, there was a book released that year. There was also a film. So we want to know the book that was published, I should say, and the film that was released in that year. And then there's a bonus point going if you know when that book that came out in 65 became the film. It became a film. And I think nearly all of them have. Some classic Bond history there. Question 7. Question 8. I've nicked a bit of music here, Abby. I didn't know whether you'd mind if I borrowed the top 40 singles chart. This is a question my son helped me with because he happened to know the answer to one of these questions about who has been in the charts for over 55 weeks. Only one song and one artist has actually ever achieved it, apparently. But there are 6 songs, if you count it all up, going back to 69. It's not always consecutive weeks, but they've been in aggregate over several years. So 6 songs have achieved that. So we're looking for the songs and the artists. That will get you 6 points. And we don't mind if you have songs without artists and artists without songs. And you get a bonus point if you know which one of those 6 songs and or artists made it to number 1. And I just hope Wikipedia got that right. I always know academically it's a bad thing when you quote Wikipedia, guys, isn't it? But for quizzes, I hope it works. So, question 9. Which manned US spaceflight in August 65 set a new world record for duration in space? Was it Saturn V, Gemini 5, or Apollo 5? And we'll give you an extra point for the number of days that it spent in space. It beat a record set by the Russians, Vostok 5, which happened in 63. So, interesting times in space exploration when the college was open. And I'm now at the last question, I think. This is partly music, partly Bible, of course. So there's a well-known hymn with music by Mendelssohn, which takes its text from Psalm 55. What is the name of that hymn or anthem? I think there are potentially 2 answers to that, but we'll take both of them. And in which decade was it first performed? Prolific composer. Mendelssohn, Psalm 55. And that concludes the round for 55s.
Well,
so, who's going to read the tie-break question? If you've all got equal points, there will be a miracle, no doubt. But there is a tie-break for that event.
yes. So if it's all right, I will read out the tiebreaker question. So this is the question about something which no doubt is close to the hearts of many Mildertians over the years, who in their time here in Jan Dobson Hall will have eaten, I dread to think how many potatoes. But if you are drawing, here is the question which could hand you victory. So please, to the nearest 1,000, how many potatoes did the college catering team prepare during the 2018-19 academic year? The nearest 1,000. How many potatoes did our students eat last year in the dining hall?
Fascinating. I hope you've got proper evidence for this, for the person that challenges it. If there's 2 tiebreakers, the nearest one counts, yeah? And the editor's decision, Vicky, is final, so you're in charge of tiebreakers. So we come round to do some answers. Hopefully This won't take too long now, as you can start to tot up the answers. The picture round, Shane, is yours.
Okay, so the answers. Here we are. So number 1. I mean, should I read through them or?
Yeah, just call them out, actually.
Sure.
Just so that people...
Number 1, you'll be shocked to know, was Durham Cathedral. Number 2, very recently built the Ogden Centre for fundamental metaphysical astrological physics or something. Really magnificent place. Number 3, Prebends Bridge. Very unusual name. It comes from the prebendary, is where that name originates. An 18th century bridge it is. Number 4, Vennel's Cafe on Sadler Street. Popular destination down a very slim alleyway, just hiding next to that shoe shop, I think. I've never been to Vennel's. Number 5, the ghastly Kalman Learning Centre, full of huge white lecture theatres that feels like you're in some sort of experiment or whatever. Anyway, number 6, the Shakespeare. I'm not sure how many pubs in the whole country are called the Shakespeare, but there can't be many. Can't say I've ever been there. But I think academics frequent the Shakespeare.
Sorry, Shane. I was going to say, it's probably the only pub in Durham that charges London prices. It's £5 for a...
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, number 7, Durham Marketplace, place we've all been. Interesting fact, they actually moved that statue, I think, back in the 60s or 70s. It was slightly further down the hill, closer to St Nicholas's Church, but they moved it further up for some reason. Number 8, the Palatine Centre. It's where I study law occasionally. Once or twice I managed to take myself to some seminars there. Number 9, Palace Green Library.
Yeah,
Isn't it magnificent? That's a real library. Number 10, regrettably, is University College, an inferior college, of course. They make up for their lack of personality and character in impressive buildings. And number 12, or number 11, unless there's a hidden something gone from 10 to 12 there.
10 to 11, yes.
Old Shire Hall. And Stephen, what is the hotel called that currently inhabits Old Shire Hall?
Do you know what? it's completely gone from my mind. I've stayed there several times.
Indigo, I think, isn't it?
The Indigo. Thank you very much. The Indigo. Marco Pierre White. And the steak bar. It's actually very nice. Abby, we are desperate to get these art music culture.
Yeah, well, I'll do my best. Okay, yeah. Have everybody got this one?
Yes.
Good. It's the Accademia Gallery in Florence. Okay, I'd shrug my shoulders with some enthusiasm there, so apologies for my terrible Italian accent. The next answer was Mary Ann Evans, was George Eliot's real name. Okay. Question number 3, which should read city? Thank you, Simon. Did Adolf Hitler study art? It was, of course, Liverpool. Did everyone get that?
No, embarrassing. Should have known that.
And who was the first Englishman to win the Nobel Peace Prize? It was Rudyard Kipling.
Yeah, so he was the youngest. I think 46, I think he was. And the youngest ever recipient.
Oh, okay. Did you check that?
No, I didn't. I had it to hand.
He also makes exceedingly good cakes. That's terrible, I'm sorry.
I did get that one as well. 2.
Okay, number 5 was Winston Churchill. If you didn't know that, did you have a good stab at it with that answer?
That was my guess, actually. I did think it was, so 3.
Okay. And it was Matt Cardle. I know we all got that right.
Did you know that, Abby, or did somebody... Do you know
no,
him?
I did not. No, I did not know that. I'm not a secret Matt Cardle fan, that's for sure.
I feel better knowing that.
Wonderful set of books. The Borrowers. It was Mary Norton. Mary Norton. Reading for my children now, actually. And it was Live and Let Die. It was Roger Moore's first film. Did everybody get that?
Can you hum the song for us?
I can get this. I'm really terrible. Really
very good.
Terrible jokes I've made in the space of a minute. I apologise. And question number 9. It was Martin Luther King Jr. who said, "Justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." I thought it was topical.
Will you accept it without Junior?
Yes, we'll take that.
Thank you. 5.
And Postman Pat's surname, it was Clifton.
Clifton.
Clifton, yeah.
Clifton.
Clifton, yeah.
I should have known that.
Unbelievable.
Kick yourself on that one.
Yeah, 5 out of 10. Actually, that for me in art and literature, that's actually not a good score.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well done. So round 5 with the 55s and the 1965s. The Prime Minister, of course, was Harold Wilson. That was his first term, I think, 64-70, yeah. And then a famous Prime Minister for 1 year, Sir Alec Douglas-Hume, who I think was a member of a famous cricket club in his spare time when he wasn't being Prime Minister. Question number 2. I think most people might have got a good guess for that. Green and emerald, a colour of 55 anniversaries. I think it's still quite an expensive gemstone. Question 3. Who did not know cesium is a Group 1 metal? I'm a chemist. I had to look it up, actually. Did you know? Dylan Wells know? You don't do the periodic table. Question 4. Yeah, we'll accept 17 hours, basically. That's how much sunshine. Can you imagine a day in Newcastle where you get 17 hours of sunshine? I don't think it exists. The bonus point for the capital city was Copenhagen in Denmark. And I don't think there are any others, but we...
Great question. That is a great question.
Yeah.
Love that.
Now, these are interesting. These are the... Oh, thank you, Vicky's put the answers with the listing of the numbers. So you get a bonus point for getting Eritrea. I'm not going to read them all out, but I like... Eswatini is the former Swaziland in 57, I think, isn't it? That's the pointless question on that famous quiz that I host sometimes with Alexander. Ecuador, Egypt, El Salvador, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Estonia, Eswatini, and Ethiopia, as per the latest list. Question 6. It's interesting, it's Australia, yeah? You're getting down to 25 million people at 55, and Australia is pretty much spot on 25. I think we might accept one either way, because I think it was, yes, accept 25 or 26. If you look it up, it's 25,499,884, as per my last looking at Wikipedia. 25 or 26 will accept a point for that. So, yes, who remembers this far back to the book that came out when the college opened was The Man with the Golden Gun. And that became a film in 74. I think that was actually the first one I actually did see, funnily enough. And the film of the day that you could watch in the cinemas in 65 was Thunderball. I think that was the third Bond film. Mm. Did anyone see that one? Oh gosh, Vicky, thank you. You've put all the answers out here, so I don't have to explain it. You could just go. So these were the 6 people. My son told me that Ed Sheeran was the first person to ever have a song in the singles charts that was over a year, which is this 56 weeks. And then those are all the others. My Way with Sinatra, Someone You Love by Louis Capaldi, 68 weeks. The Fairy Tale of New York, the Pogues. We'll accept Pogues or Kirsty MacColl, 68 weeks. Mariah Carey, 66 weeks. All I Want for Christmas Is You. And then I think the anthem for Christmas of our generation was, of course, Wham. We can accept George Michael, can we, for that? Not the other one, though. It's got to be George or Wham. 57 weeks, 1984 was the year I think it's the year after I graduated. So that makes a whopping 8 marks if you got any of those. So you can be generous with either the song or the artist will do fine to get one of the points. Question 9. Yeah, the answer was Gemini, and it was in space for 8 days. I didn't know that, actually. We had to look that up. Things that happened in 1965 that I should know. And this is a nice question about Psalm 55, which was, "Oh, for the wings of a dove," is the famous hymn. There is an alternative answer that I looked at. We will accept Hear My Prayer. Someone told me there's a title of an anthem called Hear My Prayer that says Wings for the Dove. 1840s is when that was. 1844, I think, is when it was first published.
Back when you were a young boy, Stephen.
You're very kind. I've been holding out for these. Aye, not but to fly, as we would say in Yorkshire. Not but to fly. So I think that's 10, yeah. You've got to do this one. Shin, your question.
Yes, so to the nearest out, 71,000 potatoes is the best we could do. That is the official statistic. We ate 71,000 potatoes last year. So I think, yes, the number closest to it, whatever you put, will win you the tiebreaker. So there we go. Shocked faces all around. Supporting the potato industry very well.
Could anyone name the potatoes involved, though? Were they Maris Pipers, King Edwards, Desiree?
Well, they are presented in, I think, over 20 different ways. So Simon was probably familiar with some more of the recent catering methods, but you've got cubes and circles and curly fries and roast and boiled and mashed and other things I've never seen before or since, and that they managed to do with them.
Many culinary
delights. Where did you get the answer from? Did you have to go and look at the bills for the catering costs?
Yes, I spoke to them about how many potatoes they bring in each week and sort of had to play around a bit, obviously, when the students aren't here and so on and so forth.
Well done. Hey, well, listen, there's been some great work gone on with all of these questions, and I was grateful to see some of the answers and embarrassed by how many I couldn't get when I didn't know the answers. So I don't know how many our viewers have got at home, but I think the idea is that you write in to you, Vicky, to authorise a score or check a score.
Yes, so if you think you've done pretty well on the quiz this evening, send your score to Liz Ryder, who's our Student Experience Officer, using vm.development@durham.ac.uk. And if you do that, you will be with a chance of winning a hamper of Mildert goodies. There's all sorts of different things in there, so hopefully that'll be a really nice thing to get out of this evening. So thank you so much, everyone, for taking part. And I think our next activity this evening is that we are going to get together in Mildert Bar, virtually, of course. And we've put some Mildert Bar backgrounds and pictures on the Facebook group. So do go and grab one of those, add it to the back of your Zoom, and we'll see you in Mildert Bar very shortly. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Vicky. Thanks, team.
Thank you. Thank you.
Everybody.
See you in the bar.
Yes,
In the bar.
at a safe social distance.
Yeah.
At a safe social distance.
I'll have a gin and tonic, please. You're buying, aren't you, Stephen?
First round's on me then, guys. Fair enough. See you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.